today are the necessities of tomorrow. See you next week.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
Because when you go into public office, you must be ready to answer to the people.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On TV360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians have said in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, and use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
TV360, dissecting the issues.
J'ai le virus de planter des arbres. Ça me plaît beaucoup. Ici, c'était un dépotoir d'ordures ménagères. Du fait que les villageois ne savaient pas qu'est-ce que c'est que l'importance de la forêt, ils prenaient leurs ordures et les déposaient. En ce moment, je leur ai sensibilisé de leur dire que l'arbre doit vivre comme nous, donc il ne faut pas salir l'arbre. C'est ce que nous a donné l'impact positif pour avoir ici un périmètre pour cultiver. Le 2 mai 2005, on a allé voir les eaux et forêts qui nous ont attribué 500 mètres carrés. On a initié intégrer les femmes dans un AGR. Et avec ça, on a choisi le maraîchage. On était à 3 hectares, mais on ne cultive pas sous la haute tension. Et on nous a déguerpi et on est à 2 hectares.
Si on fait travailler ces femmes dans cette forêt, c'est pour qu'elles prennent également soin de cette forêt. Non seulement ça permet de fertiliser les sols, mais ça permet également de les autonomiser économiquement à travers la vente de fruits.
Tous les arbres fruitiers que vous voyez, c'est nous qui l'ont planté. Chaque citronnier, on y récoltait plus de 60 kilos.
Merci beaucoup. que ce sont des dames très dynamiques, des dames très braves, qui subissent de plein fouet les effets des changements climatiques. Nous, on vient en rescousse pour informer, pour sensibiliser sur des solutions, la promotion de bonnes pratiques. Pour les cas pires, c'est également l'apparition de nouveaux parasites. Et ça, on le vit ici au quotidien et un peu partout au Sénégal. Ça participe également à la dégradation des sols. Justement, c'est la raison pour laquelle nous, on essaye de trouver comme solution prioritaire aujourd'hui le reboisement massif dans les périmètres maraîchers avec des espèces qui sont répulseurs aussi.
Nos projets d'avenir, si les femmes l'acceptent, on veut faire un projet de pépinière dans les alvéoles pour alléger les travaux.
La femme est à l'image de la terre. Ce sont des vrais écoféministes qui sont là, qui sont engagés pour la protection et la préservation de l'environnement.
La forêt, c'est nous et nous, c'est la forêt.
Hello and welcome to another electrifying episode. E360 is back with more exciting contents than ever before, and I am your host Queen, bringing the latest in the world of entertainment, fashion, comedy, food, anything you can think of entertainment. I got you covered. So before we go into what we have today, let's take the latest news in the world of entertainment. So last weekend we had the African Magic Viewers Choice Award, and it's been amazing seeing our own Nigerian celebrities nailing it with their outfits, with what they know how to do best, likes of our actors and actresses being nominated for specific categories. And I'm really happy seeing everyone even being recognized for what they do. So first on the list, let me just talk about the category. Two categories that stood out for me. We had the Indigenous Award, Language Award, which went to Lishabi. If we've all seen that movie, you know that they literally deserve the award. Lishabi is beautiful. The content and everything was just amazing. Like seeing them being recognized, like they put so much work into it, likes of Latif and his wife. Like his wife even played a role in this movie, and you even notice that he's like, maybe they're married or something. Like everything was really amazing. They nailed it for me, and they deserve the award. I was really happy that they got recognized for this particular category. So the next one that actually got my attention is Seven Doors. Trust me, the actors of Seven Doors, likes of Femi and Choma, they nailed it, and it was just amazing because Choma, his wife, is an Igbo lady in the movie, and he's a Yoruba man, and he had to go leave the city to go back to the village to maybe rule, to be the king of the community at that point in time. But he had issues. If you guys have not seen it, please go back and see it, because this movie nailed. And it's really amazing seeing Choma. Choma did not just start now. Like she has been in this industry for a very long time. Like since I was little, I know Choma, and I'm really happy seeing her. She won the best lead actress for this movie, and also him, so he won the best lead actor. Like I'm really happy seeing them actually excel in this particular category. So now let's moving away from the category, let's go to the outfits. Trust Nigerians to always come through. Like Nigerians are good. We are talented. I don't know what you guys talk about, but like everybody is just, all these designers, they just have one or two things they always want to chip in. Let's talk about, let's just say Vicky James. Vicky James every year comes out with her own designs, and guess her favorite muse? It is Osas. Osas' dress was beautiful. I don't know if the nature of let's just say the theme for the AMVCAs this year was nature, because I saw so many designers trying to create nature, trees, fruits and other things, but Osas nailed it. She was styled by Vicky James. We have another one which was actually contradicting. That's Desmond Elliott. Desmond Elliott came out and was like, who is this? Like, we've not seen you, so where are you coming from? It was very funny, but his outfit was good. It's not that bad. But everyone kept on talking about the lion in front of him and one at the back. It was really amazing seeing them actually excel. So last on the list, we have our very own Davido, our OBO. Davido's album, all the songs for me nailed. Like the one that I like the most is With You, where he featured Omale, and that song is just amazing. I don't know, and I like Davido for the fact that he's a calm person, he's full of life, he's generous. He even gifted a TikToker that actually just danced to his song, like just flowed with it and everything. It was very funny, but it was amazing. And Davido is always giving us back-to-back hits. So that's it we have for entertainment. So today we dive into the world of fashion industry. So sit down and relax. Let's explore the magic screen together. I'll be right back. Welcome back. Here with me in the studio is Akin Oluwasewu, who is a fashion content creator and a stylist. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hi, good to be here.
Yeah, nice meeting. I love your outfits. Like it's giving like what you do. Literally, it's amazing.
Thank you.
I like the glasses, signature on the tie and everything, and the colors. You know what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so tell me about yourself. How did you get into the fashion creation and everything? You styling it and all. Just tell me a bit about yourself.
So yeah, just like you said, my name is Akinlulu Oluwasewu.
Okay.
Most people know me as Akinlulu Certified.
Oh, good.
And I am a fashion content creator and a fashion stylist.
Okay.
What my motivation for getting into the fashion space. Like I've always been a fashion person, like way back since when I was young.
Yeah.
But like it got more pronounced when I was in school, like uni.
Okay.
I just loved looking good to class, basically, you know, because I went to a private school.
Oh, okay,
so
okay.
I knew
you had a good advantage there.
Exactly. So I went to a private school, and we were almost, let me say, forced to wear corporate clothes to school and all of that. So that's what sparked up the interest more in me.
Okay.
And also I feel like the use of social media also influenced me a lot.
To show
When I saw so many people that were doing what I wanted to do, what I felt like I could do.
Okay.
And those are some of the things that sparked the interest more in me.
Oh, that's
like,
good.
for fashion.
So now let's talk about your education. Like you talked about, you said it from school. So did you study fashion, or what did you do? Because I know most people like to just deviate from what they actually study. We all do that, fine. But like, just tell me what you did and what actually attracted you to go into what you're doing now.
So I studied architecture in school.
Oh.
BSc, MSc.
Is there like a connection? Yeah,
so
there may be a connection.
Exactly. So I believe anybody that goes to architecture school, it's kind of sparks some form of creativity in you into whatever you are doing.
Okay.
Either if you're designing furniture, if you end up doing whatever, even if it's fashion, there's some form of creativity that architecture brings into you. So I feel like so what I studied in a way, even though I'm not actively practicing now, so it kind of sparked something in me. So I studied architecture in school.
Oh, that's good. So what would you describe your styling in 3 words?
So my style, I would say dandy. I would say prim and proper.
Wow, that's good. That's good. So tell me what fashion item you can't live without.
I'll say my suits.
Your suits?
Yes, my suits.
Now I know where the everything comes from.
I'll say my suits. I have so many suits. Like it's literally my life. Like.
Okay.
So suits. I can't live without suits.
Okay. So will you tell me about you coming up and the influencers you get to or you saw that actually attracted you, or people you look up to?
Okay, good question. So just like I said earlier, like social media kind of influenced me getting into fashion. So some people I looked up to while I was like in my early years were people like Akin Famino. I don't know if you know Akin Famino. Is a major stakeholder in the fashion content creator space. Okay. But outside Nigeria, like internationally, there's Blake Scott, there's Steve Onoja. These are the people I looked up to, and to the glory of God.
You've been nailing it. Okay, good. So now tell me what inspired you to start sharing your fashion content online.
Okay, so I have always loved social media. So I just saw social media as a platform for me to show what I do. To voice out without doing too much. And that's why till now, like if you've gone through my content, I hardly talk too much.
I've not seen one. I actually went through. I'm like, what is this voice? I need to hear your voice. I don't know how you sound.
Exactly. So I just saw social media as a means to, put myself out there without doing too much. It's more of like my portfolio.
Yeah.
So
let's say, what's the most defining moment of your life or of your career? Like when you started, what moment did you really say, "Oh, I did this"?
So for me in fashion, there have been so many defining moments. But like in the early years, I would say winning awards in university for fashion, like best dressed in my department, best dressed in the school. Do you understand? So those were some of and I've been recognized by so many well-known blogs, even in Nigeria, Bella Niger, and I've been featured on Vogue too. So like I feel like that's like the peak
of where.
Yes.
That's good. So, like, tell me about how you balance being creative and staying relevant, like keeping up with everything you have to do, keeping up with your daily life as a content creator and also a stylist.
So, for me,
did you find any difficulty anywhere?
Definitely, there will be difficulties.
So, tell us about it. So, in case we want to be like Oluwase, what do we do?
So, just like I said, definitely there are difficulties.
Okay.
But I feel one thing that makes you, keep pushing is just the goal you have in mind, and there is nothing that has an advantage that doesn't have a disadvantage. So, for me, it's just me looking at the end goal and saying, oh, let me persevere through this. Let me do all I need to do to get to become the kind of person I want to be. So, like, it helps me, be able to maneuver these obstacles in my way. And yeah, so on so many days I have multiple things on my schedule and all of that, but I just find a way to properly manage my time, you know, to meet up with all of this, and also deadlines, basically. Yeah.
That's good. I know, like, it must have been really, really stressful, but like, can you walk us through one day, like a day in your life, the process, what you have to do? Do you style your clothes yourself, your outfits?
Yes, I do.
Would you have someone that styles you?
No, I style
okay.
right. I style
do you style
myself.
people too?
Yeah, I style people.
Oh, good. So, like, just walk us through you meeting deadlines and you taking pictures, because I don't know. I feel it's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Like, one thing I know, maybe styling it and you actually waiting for it to come out the way you want it to be. So, like, the positions you stay when you're taking pictures and creating content and all like that. So, walk us through a day in your life.
Okay. So, as a fashion content creator, I feel Pinterest should be your friend. You know, because I feel like there's no idea that is really original. So you can always go through Pinterest. So let me use myself now, just like you asked. I always go through Pinterest, you know, scroll. Sometimes when I see things I like or I see things I feel like I could recreate, I save them, you know. But there's sometimes that ideas just come like off the top of my head. Like, I'm just doing something, I just pass through somewhere, I see something, I see someone online, I see someone wearing something online, or just the combination just makes sense. Like, yeah, there's that too. And there's just me just being myself, and trying to evolve on what I'm already doing. Do you understand? So, like, right now, like, my kind of style, it has evolved over the years. Not just from like corporate outfits. Like, now the way I am, it's kind of, you could say it's kind of corporate, but it's not corporate.
Casual corporate, like, in the mix.
Exactly. So it's a mix. So it has kind of evolved over the years. So, like, a typical day in my life is when it comes to like fashion content creation, is, you know, ideation, reaching out to, I have like a team, like my photographers, majorly photographers, because I love.
Must be really good.
Yes. So and they're also very creative people. So we rub ideas. So let us know what we need. Either if there are some props you also need, you know, try to put it in place, get it before the day of the shoot, and we shoot. And even on set, there are some other ideas that pop up.
They have to.
Yes, I also implement into and that's how we make it happen.
It seems like a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot.
It's like, you know, when people just see a picture, wow, this is beautiful, this is good. They don't know the process. They don't know how difficult it was to go through just to achieve that result. Now let's talk about you combining colors. Trust me, not everybody in Nigeria literally knows how to do that. Not everybody in the world, like, just so both colors are, you're like purple and orange. How will this go about? How have you been able to maneuver that phase?
So for me, I would say it's just my kind of person. I've never had to think about, will this color go or not. Okay. I've never really had to do.
Sorry to cut you. Have there been any situation where you've seen yourself say, this color did not gel?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just really my kind of person. So so many times if I feel something will work, it actually just works. I don't know how, to be honest. It might it might be God. It might be
God is good.
It's even God. I credit that to God, you know. So, like, so many times I just try out things, try out colors, and also as an advice to people, I'll just say, you know, try out different things in the comfort of your home. Don't now go out and be looking like tetracycline in front of other people. So you can, like, your house is like your comfort zone where you can try out things. Let your family members insult you.
Oh, good. I was about to ask that.
Exactly. Let your family members insult you before you go outside and embarrass yourself. Exactly.
Okay, because living alone maybe and you're trying to match colors, you may not exactly get to
your
what
mirror.
you want.
Your mirror is there for you.
Oh, your mirror is there, but sometimes
and open your eyes.
Sometimes you look at yourself like, I think I look good, but when you step out, you don't look good at all. So now tell me how you've been able to, how social media has changed the way you work as a stylist.
Well, social media actually has so many benefits, and it has really helped me. You know, it gave me some form of influence. Okay. And the reason is because I actually started early enough. I started way back in 2015. Not so many people were doing this back then.
Not everybody.
Exactly. Not so many.
It's also like a thing.
Exactly. So in like the university space, people actually knew me. like when you talk of people in Covenant, people in Redeemers, these are people that actually do fashion at that time. Okay. So many of them knew me at that point. So social media has really changed and helped me, like with my style and how I really approach things in general. Like I would give so much credit to it, to social media.
Okay. Yes. So now, speaking of social media, what platform do you use the most and why?
Majorly Instagram.
Okay, why
because
Instagram?
That's where I started from.
It's a good platform,
it's a good platform, and that's where I started from. Just when Instagram first started, it was majorly for pictures. There was no even video. It's just I think 2020 that they started Reels and all of this, and so just like that, I also tried to evolve and advance, and start creating video content also because if you don't evolve, you won't be relevant. Do you understand? So I started evolving also, start creating video content on social media. So yeah, Instagram works for me the most. But right now I'm trying to I'm already doing that. I'm already trying to diversify my platforms. Yeah, TikTok, Pinterest. Because I got to I got to discover last year that there's actually a very big market on Pinterest.
So you have been yelling that.
Exactly. So I'm doing that right now.
That's good. I like the fact that you're evolving and you're changing, and social media is helping you to become better in your field. So let's go on a quick break. We'll be right back. We'll go on a quick break, guys. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Here with me in the studio is still our stylist and our fashion content creator. So now tell me about, have you faced any criticisms online and how have you been able to manage it? Because I know the word out there is not easy for anybody, but tell me how you've been able to maneuver and just keep pushing regardless.
So because of my kind of personality, I have not really faced criticism that much because I believe I was using platforms like X, which was formerly Twitter, I would have received a lot of even when I know I talked about diversifying my content. Yeah. And there are sometimes I post something on TikTok on X and you see some kind of comments that are just really man. But on Instagram everybody's all over light.
Yes, everybody's
all over light. So I've never really had to face that form of criticism, and because of my kind of person, I don't like putting myself in a situation where I am in that place where people have different
things to say about you.
About me now. So,
okay.
I believe it's just my kind of person.
Oh, that's good. So, who is your favorite fashion icon now, and why?
Well, my favorite fashion icon, I believe it's not one currently.
Okay, just mention and why.
Okay, so Pharrell Williams.
Okay. Pharrell
Williams is a grand commander of style. Yes. Grand commander of style.
And I agree to that.
Yes, and I believe our kind of styles are similar, so that's why I connect more with Pharrell Williams.
Now I'm drawing the line. In your pictures. Yeah. Wow. Okay, that's good.
So it's a Procky too. It's someone's style that I love a lot. It can be very minimalist. It can be quite edgy too. Yeah. So not giving yourself a box. Is the reason why I like A$AP Rocky. Yeah. So those two.
I like A$AP Rocky as well. So now, if you're going to style any celebrity, who would it be, and what style do you think you would put on them?
Locally or internationally?
Let's do two. Let's do Nigerian and international.
Okay, locally, within Nigeria.
Yeah.
I would like to style the video. I really like to start the video.
It can be fun, so whenever I hear the video, I just want to jump.
I really like to start the video.
In what way?
Putting up something for him that just gives him the superstar vibe. To project him more as a superstar that he is.
Okay.
Yes, because on some occasions, sorry to say, on some occasions I've seen when he has worn some kind of outfit, and I'm like, no, the style should have done better. So yes, and that's my reason for choosing the video.
Okay.
And internationally, let's say Idris Elba. I mean, he has a great sense of style, but it would just be an honor to style someone like that.
It's amazing. It's amazing you're mentioning people that I know. No, that's good. That's good. So, what's the most challenging shoot or project you've ever worked on, and why?
Off the top of my head right now, The most challenging shoot. Okay, so just like I mentioned, I've been featured on Vogue once.
Okay.
But it wasn't my idea, it was the photographer's idea.
Okay.
So it was something that brought me out of my comfort zone. Because if you see that picture, I was looking kind of homeless. And because it was an editorial image, just that I wore like lace and stuff. So I feel like that was kind of difficult for me to do, because it was not like my normal kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, who doesn't want to be on Vogue? So yeah.
So it was really, really difficult process.
It was kind of difficult for me, but I believe, but like for like my own personal stuff, I mean, in the early stages, it used to be quite difficult. But like right now, I believe it's almost like it's almost easy for me, like very easy for me to just because I have like a system. You understand, that makes things work easier for me.
That's good. I know Lagos is like a fashion zone entirely. So have you been able to attend events, and let's just say GTCO Fashion Week and other fashion shows that we have, and have you been able to, do you attend them?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Especially Lagos Fashion Week, because Lagos Fashion Week is one of the biggest fashion weeks in Nigeria. So like it's even like, don't let me not to talk down anymore, but like it's one of the biggest fashion weeks. So there you get to meet even people you look up to in Nigeria, you know. So I attend Lagos Fashion Week a lot. Every year I've been attending since I think 2019, until even last year, and I'll still attend this year.
Oh, good. So tell me about GTCO Fashion. What do you think about it and the idea behind it? Because last year I got to attend one for my very first time. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. I love every single thing happening here. So will you want to be in that position, styling people, and what do you think you will bring up? You
mean styling attendees or styling?
Let's just say styling models.
Models on the runway. I mean, it's something I'm very open to. I mean, GTCO Fashion Week is also a very big fashion week in Nigeria. So yes, it's something I'm very open to. You know, working with a designer to put out their pieces in the best way possible on the runway for everyone to see.
Okay.
Yeah,
so now you're creating content like on Instagram and other platforms that you work with. How do you get your inspiration from? Like, do you see, not only from Pinterest, but the ideas of you creating videos? Like, what do you think? Or is there like a brain box, someone that just says, oh, I think you should work this way? Or do you just bring everything, every idea you do? Because the videos are amazing, trust me. So like you working this particular way, looking up this way, is there someone that directs you? Or you do everything? So
first and foremost, I'm a believer, so I'll give the glory to the Holy Spirit. Like the Holy Spirit helps me a lot, gives me direction on so many things. Yeah, and also that's why I mentioned the team that I work with. So like there's just this synergy between us, where some of the ideas come from me, some of the ideas come from them. So it's just easier that way. I believe every creative, if you are looking to build a team, you should actually look for people who share the same ideas and who share the same visions like you, so that whatever you're looking to achieve will be easier. And so that's basically what has been helping me. So so many of these videos that you see, they are basically some are my ideas, some are their ideas, and we bring them together.
Because you pass off like a model, like maybe you don't even do anything, but like the way you just position and taking photos and everything, I will call you a model.
Yeah, it took so many years.
Okay.
It took so many years, you know. I believe in my early stages I wasn't that comfortable. Like when I started this, I didn't like taking pictures in public.
Oh.
But right now, if you put me in the middle of the road,
anywhere I can
take pictures easily, like, because that's what I'm born to do.
Okay, but you know, like you standing out, like with your styling and everything, your outfits actually draw attention of people.
Exactly.
So like now you said before you were shy. Were you a shy person?
Yes.
Okay, so you wearing those outfits, it was like.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, to get to a stage, there's a point to do something to a point of mastery, where you are no longer shy.
So you're used to everyone looking at you.
Yes, like I'm already used to it. I've done it a lot of times. I'm already used to it. So yeah.
Oh, okay, that's good. So, what advice we give to anyone trying to go into this fashion content creating business?
So, any advice I'll give, especially to younger people?
Yeah,
I would say start as early as you can, and be consistent, because consistency in anything just makes you better.
Okay.
You get, and the earlier you start, the earlier you can make the mistakes you're supposed to make, which will make you better. Okay. So I'll just say two I'll pass out two advices. I'll say start early and be consistent in what you're doing.
Okay. So let's go on a quick break first. We'll be right back. So guys, we'll go on a quick break. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, guys. So before we end this show, let's just take 60 seconds, 10 games, questions rather, just in and out. So let's just say your favorite celebrity couple. Who would it be?
It's Aproki and Rihanna.
Thank you. Most outstanding day of your life?
Most outstanding day of my life?
Yeah.
Most outstanding day of my life has to be... There are so many. Well, let's say the first day I was recognized for what I'm doing right now.
Okay. Yeah. Football or basketball?
Football, basically.
Favorite relaxation sports?
Favorite relaxation in Lagos or anywhere?
Anywhere.
In Lagos, I would say Landmark Beach.
Okay. So, movies or novels?
Movies, I'm a movie person.
Favorite city you like to visit or you have?
Favorite city I would like to visit, Mauritius.
Okay, so favorite indoor sport?
Favorite indoor sport, let's say indoor basketball.
Okay, so favorite food?
Favorite food, jollof rice and chicken.
So mention one thing on your bucket list you like to tick off.
Favorite thing on my bucket list I would like to tick off, especially this year, is like travel to as many countries as I can.
Okay, so let's just say sneakers or corporate shoes.
Corporate shoes.
Okay, good. So if you're giving $10,000 to stay in a well-furnished apartment without anybody for 6 months, just you and food, no internet too, will you stay?
$10,000 to stay for how many? For how long?
6.
No, I won't. No, I won't.
You won't. Okay, let's reduce. Let's say 2.
2 months.
Okay. Yeah, 2
no
months.
internet, no food.
No internet.
I can run mad.
No, there'll be food.
Okay,
There'll be
food.
good food.
There'll be food?
Yes, but no internet.
No.
No, you can stay.
Because
All
I feel
right.
like all I do, like, it gives you some sense of purpose, you know.
True.
So all of that within 2 months,
Okay.
like I can't.
So what if there's internet? You're going to stay.
There's internet. We are getting there. So, yeah, internet. Yeah, with internet, I'm good.
No problem. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Welcome. Thank you so much.
It's really nice seeing you and what you do and everything.
Thank you.
So is there anything you want to share?
Yeah.
Where can we watch you? Where do we see you?
Okay, so you can check me out on Instagram. My handle is at akinlolu.certified. I'm also on X. I'm also on every other platform. Yes, so these are the platforms where you can check me out, and it's so nice being here.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on the show. So guys, that's all we can take on this episode. Thank you so much for staying with us. So see you next time. Bye for now.
My name is Bintu Salihu Garba, IGB. from secondary school, I moved on to Kano Polytechnic. That's where I started painting. And I'm happy I was the first female to start painting the Kano State. When I was a child, I used to draw. By then, I didn't know what painting was. I guess you understand what I mean. Then my uncle, then Aladidia, late, he now took us to London. That's where I saw paintings of master's paintings, very beautiful ones at the National Gallery of Art in England. So from there on, I just love painting and I pick up interest from there. Because I noticed after every painting, a painter will now inscribe his name at the bottom of the painting. That was what inspired me. I said, boy, I would love to paint and then inscribe my name on that. From there on, I just pick up drawing and then I continue drawing. From there, it just leads to painting. Honestly, if you say dominated by men, possibly it is only here in Kano that painting is dominated by men. Other places, women do painting. If you say challenges, well, there are quite a lot of challenges, but I was able to go through it because the men I'm working with then, they were also helping me to see that as a female, they kept encouraging me, even the lecturers, they encouraged me to paint. So I now pick up painting and I continue doing it, and I truly, really worked hard to get to where I am today. I started teaching drawing. I got employed into Kano State Senior Service Management Board, that is secondary school. So I continue drawing, painting, and then teaching at the same time, and then making money from there because it's a job. It is what I do. You understand? It's what I do. I teach painting, I paint. People tend to commission me for some paintings. Some of them I even say flowers, some fruits, some vegetables, etc. I just continue doing it, and that's how I tend to make it as a business. As I've earlier mentioned, I told you I've been teaching for past decade now. You understand? So I guess I am passing this knowledge down. Now that I've come to this age, I'm in my studio, I allow teenagers to come. I teach them painting free of charge. Some of them, all they do is to buy the materials themselves. And then I do teach them, I do coach them, because you don't teach painting, you coach. It is some talent, like person has talent and then you now coach him, you develop his skill, you understand? So that is what I do now. I get teenagers and even adults, some of them are even interested. They do come to my studio and ask me, I would like to paint. I would like, fine and good, since it is what I've been doing for over 30 years now. So I now find it easier to even teach anyone that is even interested in painting. over 30 years. I cannot tell precisely how many. Like I told you, it is school. I teach in school and I take many classes, you understand? And I've taught in so many schools now in Kano, so many schools. And all of these schools, no class is less than 45 students that I taught. For the past 30 years, that is what I have been doing. So how many I teach now, I cannot tell. But I know I have taught a lot of people painting. The outcome of it now, I can see people are developing interest in painting, and alhamdulillah, they see female in it. People are now coming out to appreciate painting. Like I forgot to mention to you that we have this Society of Nigerian Artists. We are shouting out to people, getting people, reaching to them, so that they will now understand painting, and that it is not only drawing, it is a way of life, because some people don't even know that painting is a profession. They don't know it. So now myself and members of the society, we are reaching out to people to get them to understand painting and drawing as well. Over the years, my painting, I delve mostly in culture. Any environment I find myself, I now tend to go into I see the culture, the kind of people that are there, like I now work with what they have there. My painting is mostly culture and educative as well. Anytime we hold an art exhibition, I do sell painting, and besides, when I was in school, visitors used to come and buy my paintings. That is why I lost count of my painting. Then I didn't know I should be counting them. As I'm working, people tend to come in and appreciate the work. By the time I'm working, they will tell me, okay, if you are through with this, I'm going to buy it. Some, by then, I even used to give it free of charge. I didn't know it is something that I should be counting or something I should keep as a sign. But much later now, I come to realize that every piece of my painting is like a child to me. So from there, then, I've started counting them. But the previous one I did, I cannot precisely tell their numbers. Now people are buying art and decorating their houses, and even places of interest now. And if you go around Kano, you will see that there are places that are decorated with paintings. You understand? So that is how we are reaching out to people. Even the government now, they do commission artists to come and do paintings in strategic places like what do you call it, recreation centers. Even in hospitals, we even have paintings in hospitals where we educate people, you understand, on, say, a kind of disease. Like now we have this COVID-19 around. You need to see the kind of illustration painters are doing to make it easier for people to understand what they should do and what not should do. Start of COVID-19, honestly, I've been able to make 1 or 2 paintings to illustrate COVID-19 here in Kano using the kind of materials I have around me. For instance, now, okay, it's there behind you, so you can see. Yes, after I will show it to you. It's something I use, a plant that comes out in ball like this. So I use that kind of plant now. I paint it and I use it and I name it as COVID-19. I would like to advise the government, because anyway, almost everything on earth, people will say government should do something, government should do very well. But would I go to encourage artists and help us appreciate the work of art we do? Anytime they have anything to do with illustration or like kind of needing to inform people about something, we would like them to encourage us artists, to involve us artists to do those kind of things for them, instead of them going outside getting those kind of illustration, billboard around, whatever, where there are artists around. So we like government to encourage us, like they do release fund for agriculture, they release fund for education, they should release fund for visual artists too. They should do that. Yes, government should do that. We also like people to appreciate our work. People should not just sit and say, oh, drawing. Drawing is a way of life. And art is not only drawing. Like you're standing there, you're wearing a hat, a cloth, a long trouser, it's art. You combine things on you to make you to beautify yourself, isn't it? So that is art. Art is a way of life. COVID-19 have affected the patronage very, very well. Yes, it has. But that is not withstanding, that is not stopping us from doing what we're doing, because it is not only foreigners that patronize our paintings. It's not only foreigners. So we are doing what we do, and then, painting, it is something you can do and keep. With time, those foreigners will come. You are a client, you say, I want so thing to be painted. From there, I, as an artist, I will now see and I'll sit down and think of what it is you want. First, if I like, I can make sketch on paper. Then I will now move on. Possibly it is a design you want. You mention the size of the design you want. Then I prepare my canvas. The process in preparing canvas, you need your easel, like what you see here is the easel stand, and then you need canvas, like I told you, this is it. You need, this is a white cloth that we use on it. Then you use emulsion paint to coat it several times so that it will be hard. Then you now use your oil color. If it is oil color, you use or acrylic color. You have so many medium.
Right in the middle of this forest in southwest Ogun State and inside the buildings below, a young generation of farmers in Nigeria is changing the face of farming and attracting young people to a venture many of them had not always liked. And 36-year-old Peter Okoche Jr., or PJ as he's fondly called, is leading the change. An economist by training before branching off into farming, PJ and his team are deploying a unique method of farming known as aeroponics to grow cash crops, starting out here in August of 2017.
What's taking place is that you're seeing agricultural technology. It's a disruptive form of technology. It's called aeroponics, whereby the plants are grown in a soilless medium. Essentially, there's no soil, and the roots of the plants, which are underneath these boxes, are being misted with nutrients and so forth. So everything is within a controlled environment, and it's fully automated as well.
Their focal crop is yam, a very popular edible starchy tuber mainly cultivated in Africa and exported across the world.
The yam subsector of the overall agricultural sector, it's a very lucrative sector. But the problem is that the requisite inputs haven't been applied. And so what we're doing in this program is saying that, okay, we know that there's a sector that currently has a value, according to the Food and Agricultural Organization based in Rome, of about $13 billion US. But with the requisite inputs, the yam subsector will grow from $13 billion to about $19 billion. And this is Nigeria alone. So what we've said is that, okay, we know also that Nigeria accounts for 60% of the global production of yam, but yet we don't have inputs such as seed. And as you know, seeds, or the lab and the seed essentially is the genesis of the agricultural sector. So what we're doing is that in conjunction with IITA, we get clean seeds, essentially from IITA, from the lab, and then we come and we transplant to the system here.
The system is a greenhouse where the yam seeds are grown in this row of boxes using aeroponics, more like growing yams in the air. Now just take a look at these leaves. Every leaf you see here is a potential tuber of yam. So to get a sense of how many tubers of yam we have here, you just have to do a count of all the leaves we have here. It's something very massive.
We have about 10 boxes, and in those boxes, all fully automated aeroponic systems, and it leads to high propagation of plants. And so we're actually massively propagating, and it will continue like this for a 3-year period of just continuous growth, non-stop. After the propagation, what you'll see is that it will essentially form a canopy. It will be very bush-like and so forth. And from there, we'll start vine cutting. And from the vine cutting, we'll cut these. We'll put them into essentially polyethylene bags and with a nutrient solution, and they'll stay in there for about a month. And essentially, what it is that because this is in a controlled environment, we're taking them out and saying, okay, we're preparing you for a month to get used to the external elements. And they'll be there for a month, and then we eventually take them to the field.
This is the field where they are brought and planted into the soil so the seeds could develop fully.
These right now currently have been here for about 3 weeks, and we're still planting now, and they'll be here for a total of about 3 months. And after about 3 months, we'll get seeds of about 250 to about 500 grams. And those are the seeds that we'll provide to farmers. And farmers can then go and plant directly, and it will give them the ware yam sizes of 1 kg, 2 kg and above.
One of the smallholder farmers who's been using the yam seeds from the aeroponics farm is Awofe Ademola. He's been into traditional yam farming all his adult life and says the yam seeds from the aeroponics farm have seen his output more than double and safe from pests.
There's a lot of difference between the two methods because the new method doesn't get infected by pests and it doesn't change color like the traditional planted yams. It will remain fresh as it is wherever it is kept. Their yam when harvested is almost 3 times or 4 times more than ours. When we plant one of our own seed yam, it equates to 4 of theirs.
Habibat Umar is the only female in the group. She's one of those overseeing the day-to-day running of the smart farm. She says she's fascinated by the whole idea of it.
One of the things that fascinates me most is the fact that we can go all year round producing food, more like you can cheat God's creation and having to depend on the rain and all. And everybody wants to eat all the time. You don't want to wait for when the rain is here. And so the fact that we can provide the food all year round, it's everything to me.
Even though all may seem fine, PJ and his team are battling familiar challenges to keep their operations running.
More attention needs to be given to the sector. There needs to be more financing put in place. We need to have adequate land laws in place and to ensure that we can optimize all the arable land that we have and so forth. There needs to be insurance. We need to have better road networks. Power is a major impediment as well. Essentially we have our own solar system, as well as the fact that we also have a generator as well for backup. So power cost is also a major impediment as well. So all of these things, if we can put all these things in place, then the sector will boom for sure.
PJ and his team are setting themselves up as role models for young people. In a country where youth unemployment is high, they are hoping to inspire many within their age bracket to take to their kind of farming technique.
We need women to even join this chain, because this is not all about, we've gone past the stage of waiting for men doing it. So why wouldn't I want to be part of it? Like, let people say, oh, she's a woman, she's doing it. Do you understand? So women have to join this chain.
My message for the youth is saying that, listen, with the use of technology and disruptive methods such as this, essentially you can run your farm on your laptop, on your computer and so forth and everything. It's all automated. So essentially this makes agriculture cool. It makes agriculture sexy. You have the technological components to it and so forth and everything. So it's not just the conventional, back-breaking work in the field and so forth and everything like that. There are also these components as well that will make it appealing to the youth. So I say, listen, join me. We have a nation to feed and we have a nation to grow as well.
Hello and welcome to the program. Debate on electoral reforms and proposed amendments to key sections of Nigeria's Electoral Act of 2022 and the 1999 Constitution ahead of the 2027 elections and other elections in the country are dominating public discourse. The proposals were presented during the joint Senate and House of Representatives Committees on Electoral Matters in conjunction with the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. One of such proposed reforms is the removal of the powers to appoint resident electoral commissioners (REC) from the President and vest the power in INEC. INEC is seeking the constitutional changes that will grant the Commission the authority to appoint and discipline heads of its state offices, to be known as State Directors of Elections. INEC also emphasized the need for a single-day voting system and the eradication of permanent voters' cards ahead of the 2027 general election to ensure credibility, saying this will reduce the cost and streamline elections in the country. The Commission further renewed calls for the amendment to the Constitution to allow Nigerians in the diaspora as well as certain categories of citizens within the country to participate in future elections. In his remarks, INEC Chairman Mahmood Yakubu says the next elections come 2027 will be a challenging one. Therefore, he appeals to the National Assembly to expedite the passage of the proposed amendment to the 2022 electoral law and the 1999 Constitution. Well, I'm joined by Mr. Debo Adeniran, who is the Chairman, Center for Anti-Corruption an open leadership call to discuss INEC's proposed reforms. Thank you very much for joining me, Mr. Adeniran. Let me begin by asking, overall now, what do you make of INEC seeking changes to the 1999 Constitution and the Electoral Act of 2022 ahead of the 2027 elections and others after that?
In any procedure, in any law, in any guideline. So it doesn't matter how beautifully crafted you have a policy or guidelines. If people that are mischievous are allowed to operate it, they will still find a way around it, where they will manipulate the process to suit their whims and caprices. All of the reforms that have been suggested, yes, they are beautiful. They are capable of maybe achieving credible election. But then there will always be a loophole for those who have perverted minds. And that is the only fear, because it's still Nigerians that will operate the law, the guideline, and the reforms. It is Nigerians that will be candidates, and they will be the ones to be voted for. So it is the restructuring of the mind, refocusing, and new moral rectitude that is likely to help rather than changing policies and the rest of it.
INEC is also seeking full control over state electoral appointments, starting with appointing resident electoral commissioners to oversee polls in the state, rather than the president doing so as we have it currently. INEC now says it wants the power to discipline these recs. Is this a considerable proposal from the commission?
The truth is that it is possible that INEC will become truly independent, just like other institutions like Central Bank of Nigeria and other arms of government. They can be independent. They should be allowed to choose those who work with them and have the capacity to discipline them. But then it cannot be completely. INEC cannot be completely independent, just like the central bank cannot be completely independent of the executive, because they are not a separate arm of government. They run their affairs under the guidance of the presidency. Somebody will say, the president will still have a say in the appointment or nomination or appointment of the chairman of INEC, and the voice of the president is actually stronger than the voice of all other arms of government who have one thing or the other to do, especially the judiciary. Even judiciary, as independent as we want to be, we are being made to believe, the president, the executive still play a lot of roles in controlling that arm of government, because the budget still have to be presented by the executive and defended by the Ministry of Justice. The same thing with the budget of INEC. No matter how independent it is, an arm of government or of the executive will still lord it over the budget and manipulate it in the ways that will suit the need or the interest of the ruling hegemony. So it doesn't matter what we do, but it will only give the outer world the semblance of true independence for the electoral umpire, which is okay. As a matter of fact, that they ask that they be able to discipline their members. All of those disciplinary actions will still pass through the judicial mill, and it is the judiciary that will have the last say, no matter how much they try. Because if they even set up a tribunal that we have once agitated for, that there should be electoral tribunal. Even if they set it up, they will still have to appeal. The appellate court will still be there. The Supreme Court will still be there. It will not start the adjudication into any dispute in the conduct of affairs of INEC will not start and end with the proposed tribunal. It will not start and end in the High Court, in the federal or state High Court or appellate court. They will still go as far as Supreme Court. So basically, we should, well, it's worth it to some extent and to satisfy the yearnings of, but for me personally, I just believe that it is not the law. It is those who are operating the law. And the selection of those who will operate the new INEC law or guidelines should be those who have a clean pedigree, those who have performed wonderfully well in the areas they have found themselves serving Nigeria before, those who may not want to stain their clean garment that they have acquired, they have worked for over the years, those who have integrity, those who are professional, those who have a family background that you cannot be ashamed of. Those are the kind of people we should look for. They are there in Nigeria, although unsung. Many of them have not had the opportunity of being in prominent positions like INEC before, but they have kept their cool, and they have been men and women integrity in the small corner they find themselves. These people can be sought out and be appointed.
Let me also get your thoughts on INEC's request to conduct all elections in one day in the country in a bid to save costs. We're talking of presidential, governorship, the National Assembly. Now, we understand how challenging this exercise is for INEC in various areas, such as logistics, despite assurances that all is in control just before the elections. Wouldn't INEC be stretching itself thin if this were the case, that's to conduct all elections in one day?
Well, I don't think so, because it doesn't take much to compile statistics and analyze it. Now that we have several machines, packages, apps that can help collate figures and decide on the results in real time. So it is not likely. What should be done is for INEC to have the power to screen even the candidates from different political parties. And as a matter of fact, we have once recommended that not just every Tom, Dick, and Harry should be allowed to register a political party. The political party should be seen to have the capacity to run the affairs of this country. And the criteria should be set in such a way that it will not make a joke out of our electoral system, where we have about 20, 30 political parties fielding candidates. The candidates who nominated by various political parties should be pre-screened to be sure that they are actually capable of carrying out the assignment of governance that they are likely to be saddled with in case they won election. And that screening should actually reduce the number of those who are capable, of running the election and winning the election. Now, those will make it easier for INEC to control the number of paperwork that they have to do. All of these screening machines should be made to be compiling the results in real time, like IREF, should be fed in such a way that it won't be necessary for human intervention anymore, and that people can use their maybe biometric statistics to even vote. I mean, I think that is one of the reform that they are talking about. That is, you don't need to keep on using the archaic system to conduct the affairs of this country anymore. We have several documents, several, what do we call it now? Several documentation that could assert the personality of the person that came to vote. And the only thing is to prove that they are alive, their eyeballs should be screened, their fingertips could be also screened, and all of that should be enough. Since we have NIN, that NIN and even voters card have collected our biometrics.
Well, it seems now that INEC and the Nigerian Senate are on the same page, because a bill to amend the Electoral Act of 2022 to provide for same-day elections nationwide as a cost-saving measure and to reduce voter apathy scaled second reading in the Senate back in March this year. Speaking of voter apathy, you think same-day elections will make a difference?
Well, the communication was breaking intermittently, but I believe that voter apathy can be reduced if we allow people to vote where they find themselves without necessarily have to go and queue up in the rain, in the sun. If people can use their smartphones to vote, it's just that they may need to download a particular application that will make them to be to identify themselves, and we are able to do that. If we can withdraw money, without necessarily having to go to the bank, then we should be able to vote without having to go and queue up at polling station. Technology has gone beyond all this pedestrian level where everybody will have to queue up and they have to see you, they have to take your picture all over again, even when your fingerprints will bring out your pictures that have been taken when you are registering for NIN, when you are registering for as a voter, and all of that. You have all of this data that have been compiled. Let them harmonize the data if there's any doubt. Any other thing any other requirement that is not embedded in our NIN should be included one way or the other, and let us be able to vote the way we withdraw money or transfer money from one point to the other. So that is the only way by which voter apathy could be reduced. Some people feel too big to go and queue up. All of these people will be able to vote, with their own machines, with their computer or with their smartphones and all that. They will vote. It will reduce risk. It will reduce violent attack. It will reduce all sorts of things, and it will reduce manipulation of electoral process. And of course, there are applications. The application to be used will be foolproof, that nobody can hack into, and there should be backup, machine, or what do you call it now? Backup data storage facility that will not allow anybody to manipulate the computer system or the data system and get away with it. Because as voters cast their ballot, it should go to both the IRF, the immediate storage facility, and the backup, which will not be available to those who are actually conducting the election until there will be a need to prove that the ballot cast is the result that is announced at the end of the balloting period. So basically, it will reduce costs, it will reduce violence, it will enhance security, it will a lot of things. It has a lot of advantages. I agree with them.
Although Mr. Adeniran, we'll get back to our conversation after this short break. Do stay with us. We will be back shortly. Welcome back. Let's continue the conversation on proposed reforms by INEC. That's reforms to the Electoral Act and 1999 Constitution. Mr. Debo Adeniran, Chairman of CACOL, is still with me on the program. Now, Mr. Adeniran, still on the issue of same-day voting, with which the Senate and INEC as well now say will boost voter participation. Do you think Nigeria has the technological infrastructure, to handle the demands of same-day elections? Because that's another challenge that confronts INEC.
The money we spent, running physical identification and the rest of them is enough to acquire the technology. But I believe that we have Nigerians that are technologically savvy to the extent of even developing a homegrown, application that can be used for our own election. Everywhere you go in the world, you find Nigerians making their waves, in the field of technology. Even in Nigeria here, we have several firms that are very innovative, that are very creative, and that have been performing wonders in the areas of development technology. Look at Remita. I mean, if we can use Remita and it's working for the past 8 or so years that they have introduced it into our payment system, we should believe that a company like those who develop Remita, that's System Specs, can still develop new applications that with which we can vote and be collated in real time without wasting time. As a matter of fact, that application itself can be used. They only have to adjust it to suit the purpose of electoral system. So basically, we can vote one day. Even the diaspora voting that has been talked about for so long can be included.
There's the flip side to INEC's reform proposals. Nigeria's House of Representatives Committee for Political Parties had earlier called for the unbundling of the commission by removing the power for registration and regulating political parties and vesting the power in another institution. How good do you think this idea is?
They don't have to remove those powers. They should have, as a matter of fact, like I said it earlier, they should have more powers to whittle down the number of registrable political associations. The conditions should be made more stringent. The capacity to administer the life of people should be measured in technical terms, in terms that will ensure that if they eventually won election, they will run a government that will be truly democratic. And if you don't want democracy, we should be able to determine how we want to be governed by ourselves through through the choices that we will have made for ourselves. So basically, if we have a truly independent electoral body, like we are talking about, they should be granted the powers to determine how they want to operate. Like I said the other time, once we have credible Nigerians who with good and enviable track record in places they have served before, they should be entrusted with the capacity to run our electoral system from cradle to grave without interference from another body, another government agency. Let them do it, just like the CBN is doing. There's no human being that is perfect. I'm not saying that we should look for complete saints to run our electoral system, but we should also be vigilant. As soon as we discover that somebody is capable of soiling his or her hands in the filthy, in the filthy jar of electoral corruption, manipulation, and the rest of them, evidence should be gathered against such a person. And as a matter of fact, the operations of the INEC itself should be guided by, by technology, that we monitor everything that is being done at every stage. And there should be backup system that cannot be manipulated by the same set of people. So once this is done, we have to begin to trust ourselves. Once we repose adequate trust in a set of people to govern our electoral system, let us put our trust, the trust. Let us put confidence. Let us repose adequate confidence in them. There will always be some fault here and there, but there should be consequences for wrongdoing. Every wrongdoing in the electoral system should be treated according to the enabling law. And the enabling law, I said, should be very strict on all of the offenses that are attached to the operations of INEC. So basically, we should repose adequate confidence in ourselves. They don't need to unbundle anything. They just have to operate within the administrative, purview of INEC.
Well, the 2027 elections is in 21 months. Hopefully, it's enough time to discuss and agree on what reforms should be implemented before then. Mr. Debo Adeniro, Chairman, Center for Anti-Corruption and Open Leadership, a call. Thank you for coming on the program and talking to us. That's it on this episode. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again next time.
It's extremely important to recognize that Afghanistan is one of the world's most climate impacted countries and also prone to natural disasters. I was able to witness firsthand the work that has been done on reintegrating refugees and returnees coming into the province, looking at the work that has been done in response to the earthquake in this area. Innovative approaches have been undertaken by the United Nations and partners to have local vernacular structures which are earthquake resistance, rebuilding permanent structures in this village behind me. I have seen again firsthand the collective efforts of the local authorities, of the partners, NGOs and the United Nations in trying to rebuild the lives together with the communities here. The response has enabled people to rebuild lives in a very challenging environment. And in my visit in Herat, I have had the opportunity to look at private sector enterprises that are working, bringing Afghan men and women into the marketplace, into economic activity, and particularly women-led micro and small enterprises was eye-opening to look at the potential on one side and the need for support for these enterprises to scale up through investments in microfinance, access to markets, support in business literacy skills, etc. This is a vital part of rebuilding Afghanistan with its private sector, tapping into the human capital of Afghan men and women and affording the space, particularly for women and girls, to contribute and have the space to be part of the nation-building process of Afghanistan.
Even though it is considered that we have a so-called disability, we really are able persons with different abilities.
For society and development to be included of persons with disabilities, we need to have equal access to education and to knowledge and information. Yet, out of millions of publications each year, fewer than 5% are made available in accessible formats for visually impaired persons. In developing countries, an even smaller percentage of publications are available in accessible formats. The Marrakesh Treaty, as it is called, will greatly expand the availability of artistic and literary works in accessible forms, such as Braille, large print text, and audiobooks. This can make a real difference in the lives of the world's more than 300 million visually impaired persons.
At the end of the day, we must come together and make however and where we are in the world be a place of unification, because me being blind visually doesn't mean that I have to be blind spiritually. And someone being sighted doesn't mean that they should be blind of those things in the world that we need to fix. We have to have inclusion.
Let us not become handicapped again, blind to the issues and the problems of those in need.
Good day and welcome to your favorite sport program on TV360 Sport. As usual on the program, it's definitely going to be another exciting moment on the show. A moment that even after the show, you have a lot of reasons to go and visit us on all our social media platforms to get those parts of the program you miss. I have two important guests in the show, and these two guests from two different parts of the world. One from the side of the federal government and also a private sector. A lot of people have been talking about private sector and public sector involvement to enable a lot of things go forward. And I'm sure these investors, these entrepreneurs have done so well for themselves to really collaborate to ensure that equestrian sport gets to where it's. A lot of people are also surprised that we have equestrian sport in this part of our world. Well, without so much ado, let me go straight to Abuja, where we have the president of Equestrian Federation, that's Nigerian Equestrian Federation, talking about Dr. Anthony Obiora. It's good to have you on the show.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Also, in the studio with me is we have Madam Vanessa Asuni, who is also into equestrian services. She is the owner of Giddy Equestrian Services. A lot of things has to do with animals, horses, and Giddy Horse Ride. It's good to have you on the show.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So we go straight, I'm sure a lot of our viewers are wondering, we go straight to Dr. Anthony Obiora. As the president of Nigerian Equestrian Federation, what was it all about? Because it's still a sport that 90% of Nigerians don't know that such sport exists in this part of the world. What can you say about that?
Yes, thank you so much. Let me begin by saying that we're really happy to be on this platform. Thank you for the opportunity to, speak about these very important sports. Nigeria Equestrian Federation was established on the 9th of December 2022, and we are the governing body that regulates equestrian sports in Nigeria. We regulate the FEI equestrian disciplines. By these disciplines, I mean the show jumping, the dressage, the eventing, the vaulting, and endurance. These are new disciplines which we are trying to establish, we're trying to develop, and these are the Olympics disciplines. So we are working in hand with some stakeholders like the Giddy Horse Riding Academy to promote these sports. And this is a sport that has a lot of following globally. I'm sure you must be aware that equestrian sports has huge economic impact globally, over $300 billion. And it is sad to say that Nigeria hasn't yet tapped into this enormous potential. So it's a good thing that is a wake-up call, and we are happy that platforms as yours is seeing the importance of having this discussion so that Nigeria begins to also tap into these enormous potentials.
Well said, and I'm sure a lot of people agree with that. But do you see any reason why we lack in the sport, why we are so behind? There's some sport that are local sport that you know that from generation to generations, there are sports that has been always around us. This equestrian sport, do you think it's a sport that has been with us in ages and we decide to leave it behind, or we have nothing to do with the sport from inception of the country?
All right, so equestrian sports, as you know, is an elite sport. It's very expensive, and it's not like it hasn't been in existence. It's a sport that has over a century existence. Prominently, we have the polo and the horse racing. These are the prominent equestrian sports we have in Nigeria until recently when we decided to introduce these new disciplines. So it's a sport that is very expensive, and I believe it's one of the reasons why it hasn't gained that prominence, because of how expensive it is. People having access to horses is difficult. Horses are very expensive, and their maintenance and all that. But the good thing now is with the likes of Giddy Academy, with the likes of other riding clubs that are coming up, and of course with the support of Nigerian Equestrian Federation and other stakeholders, we are trying to open up this access so that you don't necessarily have to own a horse before you can participate in equestrian sports. You can actually come to these riding academies or centers and register, and then you go through the training procedures and preparations towards competing. So the sport has been in existence, but access points and of course some other challenges, had made it not gain the required attention, such as funding, challenge, such as infrastructure. We have limited infrastructure across the country. We have also the quality of horse care is not as it ought to. So there are several challenges which we are trying to overcome. So that's why it hasn't been that prominent as it ought to.
Has there been any time given that you are aware of that the government, as the Nigerian government, whether the state level, the local government level, or the federal level, has dedicated a particular fund or a particular time or a particular innovation to elevate the sport?
Yes, currently we are having several discussions with the ministries, the National Sports Commission, the Olympics Committee, and you see, the thing is, the existing equestrian sports, right, the polo and the horse racing are not Olympics disciplines. And I should also think it's part of the reasons why government have not really given the kind of support. Now, this industry, before now, like the polo, the horse racing, they haven't given it that economic outlook. Okay. Now, the federal government, with the coming on board of Nigeria Equestrian Federation, which has the Olympics registered discipline. Now, it means that people who participate in these sports can compete at the Olympics, and which is where the National Sports Commission, Nigerian Olympics Committee comes in, because now they can train athletes to participate in international events. So the government has actually shown serious interest, and we are having that discussion with the Olympics Committee. We are having that discussion with the National Sports Commission to promote the sport. So it's at the moment, I would say, gaining that required attention, but a lot needs to be done.
Well said. Well, we will just come into the studio where we have Madam Vanessa Asuni here with us. You are from the private sector, and you obviously agreed to some of what you said. What brought you to the sport? Because it's obvious that you probably be the only one in Lagos or thereabout, not less than 5, doing this. What's the motivation behind a sport that lasts so much of followership?
Thank you. You know, equestrian sports and working with horses is something that requires the knowledge, the passion, and also a great deal of dedication. And this is one of the reasons why you don't see many people doing it. You have to bear in mind that we're working with live animals that are huge, and one really needs to know what they're doing in order to do it properly. So the way it started for me was that I started very young at 5.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we had something called the Ikeja Saddle Club here in Lagos, and my parents were members of that club. I started riding there, fell in love with horses, and was able to turn my passion into a career by you know, starting the Lagos Polo Club Riding Academy and then Giddy Up Horse Riding Academy. So those are the 2 riding facilities, academies that are available here in Lagos.
Well, sir, and probably for a sport like this, there'll be so much challenges. You on the private sector angle point of, what have you done to overcome these challenges?
You see, we don't look back, we keep going. And because I'm fueled by passion, there's no need to wait for anybody. And once they see like what is happening now, they're seeing what we're doing, they're seeing how Giddy Up is empowering the youth, not just those that are able to afford equestrian sports, like Dr. Obiora and you stated correctly, it is quite an expensive sport. So what we do at Giddy Up is we also empower the youth. We empower those kids who on a normal day would not even dream of coming near horses, which is why we have our Equine Youth Empowerment Program. So kids from the barracks, kids that would usually not do it, we bring them in, we train them, we teach them how to ride in exchange for, you know, helping out at the stables with the horses in their free time.
Obviously, you have. Let me bring Doctor into this particular conversation now. She has stated so well what she's doing and the passion. On the side of the government, is there any model avenue or a model infrastructure in place to also encourage those that we want to be part of this? Like she has rightly stated, a passion. So far, so good. Has there been anything on the side that the government have pushed to the forefront that will probably enable people like her to continue their passion?
All right, so we are currently making some propositions to the federal government and state governments to develop infrastructures for equestrian activities in the states and the federal level. And like I mentioned, it's a sport that hasn't gotten the required attention until recently. But the federal government is we actually proposing to set up a national equestrian center.
Okay.
It's part of the proposition the federation put in to open up that access point for clubs, for youth, and even for international events to hold. Because as it is now, assuming there's an international event is to hold, we don't even have a very standard equestrian center that we can use for such. Yes, we do have some polo club has their own pitch, horse racing pitch and all, but for also these new disciplines, we don't have a center that we can actually have such sports. So we are having discussions with the federal government to maintain some of the existing infrastructures in the states, equip them with infrastructure, equip them with what the youth can use for their training and performance. And then also setting up the National Equestrian Center that would open up that, gives it that international link, so that if tomorrow the FEI wants to host an international event in Nigeria, such centers can, be a place. Especially also as we are looking at beginning the Nigeria Equestrian League next year. It's also a league that can attract investment and that can open up the sector as well.
Okay, well said, Doctor. And Vanessa, let's not look. He was also there when the second edition. What's the whole equestrian giddy game? What's all about? Because we saw a lot of different kind of horse races. Tell us about.
Okay, so the Giddy Up horse riding and show jumping competition is for, the kids to come and showcase their talents and what they've been doing. So equestrian sports and horse riding is not just something you do. It's more of a lifestyle. It's a hobby. It's something that you keep doing. These kids eventually want to be able to own their own horses and, take care of the horses and keep riding. Horse riding has so many benefits. So we had the obstacle course competition for those that were on the lower level that can't jump yet. And this showcased how well they're able to control their horses. We also had the show jumping on junior division and senior. So for the seniors, we allowed the kids from our Equine Youth Empowerment Program to come and also showcase, and which we gave cash prizes to them, thanks to our sponsors. So this is what it's all about.
So, what areas do you think we need the president and the public sector to encourage such sports? Now that Dr. Obiora was there yesterday, from the government's angle of collaboration, what role do you need the government to do to strengthening the sport in the country?
Well, that's a very good question. I think Dr. Obiora is on track when he says we need a center that actually knows exactly how to groom these youths to learn about the whole equestrian sports and just the facilities, the horses. I'm also very big on animal welfare. It's not just about getting horses and keeping them there. It's, can you maintain the horses? Can you maintain the facility? Are you able to, give them the proper care so that when people see, if you see our horses, they're very well looked after, and we put a lot, that comes first. Without the horses, there's no equestrian sports. So it's very important to put these animals animals who are serving us, giving us the opportunity to do this, put them first. The people that are taking care of the animals also take care of them and empower them, teach them the right ways and the wrong ways. And when we're able to do that, everything will go smoothly.
The other parts that I need to say before I come to Dr. Obiora is there's a connection between some of the riders and the horses. How long does it take to connect? Because I know for a dog, the connection is maybe divine. But for horses, does it come that way? What does it take for a child to get connected to an horse? Because I can see some of the child controlling the horse, and the horse is really obeying some of them.
Yes, that's a very good question. And to answer that, horses are even more intelligent than dogs. They recognize sense. They recognize people. They remember. And they know they can sense everything. They know who is scared, they know who is anxious, which is why we have something like equine assisted therapy.
Okay.
So if you, at our event, we actually had one of the riders compete who is on the spectrum, and he comes and rides and he loves it, he enjoys it, and it's an honor and a pleasure to be able to give this kind of opportunity to kids in this part of the world.
Okay, and I'm sure there's so much you need to do to ensure, and that should be for Dr. Obiora right now, there's so much the government needs to do to ensure that the sport penetrates. Is there an initial resistance of interest in the sport? I mean, there should be so much to do on the grassroots. What would you think the role the government needs to entail that the sport gets to the grassroots, even if not in practice, in knowledge?
All right, I can tell you that we don't have resistance. There are lots of interest. Actually, there are lots of interest among youth. We've had some grassroots programs across the country, and the enthusiasts are very passionate. One thing about this sport is passion, and that passion can drive you to any length. So we could see that passion among the youth who want to get involved. And by the way, Nigeria has a rich cultural heritage in horses.
Definitely.
It's a heritage that has spanned over a century. So it's not new to us. It's something that we love. But then with the right collaboration, with the right investment, with the right support from the government, and truthfully, it's not just about the government, because the government has lots to do, So that's why we are really encouraging the private sector to come in and support, sponsorship, training, providing this infrastructure and all. And it's something that can really open up the equestrian space, create opportunity, job opportunities, and even boost local economies. So it's a big space, it's a big sector that with the right support will really do a whole lot. In one of our conversations, I did mention that this sport has the potential of bringing in about $500 million annually into the coffers of Nigerian economy.
On that, Doctor.
This is the fact,
let's
when
see,
it's properly harnessed.
Well said, but one aspect I think probably will do so well for development of the sport is train the trainers. I saw there were 3 judges on that day, and how many of the judges do we have, or how many of the technical know-how person is the federation having, or what are they doing in ensuring that other people get to know about the sport, and training the trainer kind of scheme that will also I tell you, it's a big privilege for me. My years of sport journalism, broadcasting, this is my first time of having anything to do with this sport. So what's the government, the role of the federation doing to ensure that there's always a training the trainer scheme to ensure that people know the rules? Because journalists, we need to put down our reports, we need to write the technical, who won, how the scores are being counted. What role is the federation doing in regards to that?
All right, so the federation has a national coaching program.
That's
level 1, level 2, and level 3. So it's a national program for people who are interested. Currently, we have about 20 coaches and judges who have undergone this training. So, and it's an ongoing program, and it's open to every individual who is interested to be part of this industry. So it's a program well structured that takes you from grassroots to advanced level of coaching and officiating the events.
Okay. So, Dr. Obera, Vanessa Asuni, we'll go on this quick break. Where we come back, there'll be so much question to ask, and definitely to get a lot of people aware about this beloved and noble sport. Don't go away. It's TV360 Sport Nigeria. And welcome back. Still 360 Sport. If you want to be part of the program, you can join us on all our social media platforms where the conversation never ends. And if you're just joining us, we have Vanessa Asuni, who is the founder of Equestrian Giddy Up Services, and the Federation president. That's talking about Dr. Obiora Anthony, who is the president of Nigerian Equestrian Federation. On the final note today, I want to go with Vanessa to tell us the list of 1 or 2 things that can just change the sport around under 2 years.
So this exposure that we're having is great for equestrian sports. This is something that will really put us on the platform and enable us to cement our youth in that global equestrian space. It's something that once people are more aware of, we know that they will want to come and do it. And with the support of our government, it will really help us, accelerate this goal, and also the support of the Nigeria Equestrian Federation as well.
Okay. Also, Doctor, I want to use the example of the Archery Federation, which have been involved for a very long time in the development of the sport. So there's a lot of issues going on between the Archery Federation presidents and also the stakeholders. Something I'm aware of, and I've played a great role in that. Meanwhile, while everything is going on, there's so much of private sector that has made archery go beyond the federation. How much are you going to collaborate with so much of your private sector, like Giddy Equestrian Services and the rest? How much support are you willing to give? Because I know that the private sector in this part of our country always do so much innovation that also encourage the public sector. So tell us about what you tend to do to ensure that it is not just the private sector involvement, the government will always support, like you support, collaborated with Madam Vanessa Asuni.
All right, and thank you very much. So the Nigerian Equestrian Federation is open to collaborations because we believe this is one of the ways these sports can thrive and gain the accelerated attention it requires. And like you rightly pointed, we collaborated with the Giddy Up Riding Academy. We sanctioned this event because we want to encourage them. We want to encourage the Riding Academy to do more. And because we want to make this event known globally, we want to make this club known globally. We want to showcase them to the world and inform the world that what they're doing, we are in support. It increases their credibility. It gives them that national recognition. So we are also open to every other riding club across the country who are interested in developing this sport. We are also open to other private sectors. The people also, the private sector that also want to get involved, and we have that collaboration. Like Nigerian Equestrian Federation has collaborations with different other stakeholders. We have collaboration with Kano Polo Club.
So, Doctor, in the next 2 years, where will we be seeing this sport before we round up the show? Where should we be seeing? Is there a trajectory for where we should be expecting the sport in the next 2 years?
Yeah. In the next 2 years, we envision this sport getting the required attention. We envisage in 2 years, Nigeria should be in the first World Equestrian Games. We already have one of our members who is pursuing his qualification, And we are very, very also certain that Nigeria will be in the next Olympics in 2028. So these are part of the things we are positioning for this federation and for Nigeria entirely.
Yes, this is all we take on today's program. It's been a wonderful time. I want to say a big thank you to my two guests. One in the studio here. On my left is Vanessa Asuni, and in Abuja is Dr. Anthony Obiara, who is the president of Nigerian Equestrian Federation. And we want to thank you for giving us your time and for the development of the sport in the country. Thank you very much, Vanessa Asuni. And thank you very much, Doctor, for giving us your time. Yes, if you check your time, it's time to round up today's program. It's been wonderful. Like I said earlier, you want to join us? You can join us on all our social media platforms where the conversation never stops. For everything that has to do with equestrian services, you can join us on our YouTube page to also listen again, watch this wonderful program, and probably the first TV station to talk about equestrian services in Nigeria. Thank you very much, our viewers. Same time next week, we'll be giving you all what you need to know in the world of sports. Bye for now.
Hello and welcome. Now, it's been more like 1 week, one trouble for the Labour Party as its leadership crisis continues to worsen. This time, it's more like fire for fire from both factions. So what happened? Well, the faction of the embattled national chairman of the party, Julius Abure, recently met and slammed an indefinite suspension on 6 prominent members of the party, including Abia State Governor Alex Oti, Senators Darlington Nwokocha and Ireti Kingibe, over alleged anti-party activities. Now, others suspended are House of Representative members Victor Afam Ogene, Amobi Oga, and Sheyi Shoumi. The party's National Executive Council said the decision followed the recommendations of a 5-man disciplinary committee set up on May 2nd, 2025 to probe allegations of anti-party conduct. It also addressed the omission of Nenadi Usman from the suspension list, stating that she is not a registered member of the Labour Party, but a supporter of its 2023 presidential candidate, Peter Obi. Take a lesson now to Abure.
The following members of the party have been suspended from the party and all its activities indefinitely and with immediate effect. Number 1, Dr. Alex Oti. 2, Senator Ireti Kingibe. 3, Senator Darlington Nwokocha. 4, Honorable Victor Afam Ogene. 5, Honorable Amobi Oga. 6, Honorable Sheyi Shoumi. By this suspension, these former members of the party will no longer act on behalf of the party. All concerned institutions, including the Nigerian Governors Forum, the National Assembly, INEC, and the security agencies, amongst others, are to take note.
Well, that's actually Obiora Ifo, the National Publicity Secretary of the Labour Party now. That's the faction of the Labour Party loyal to Julius Abure. Now, in response to the action of that action now by the Abure faction, the other faction led by Nenadi Usman, which is, of course, the caretaker committee backed by the Abia State Governor Alex Oti, returned fire by announcing that it had opened an investigation on alleged corruption and forgery against Abure. In fact, they went ahead to announce the suspension of Abure as well. Now, Senator Ireti Kingibe was appointed to lead the investigation and recommend appropriate sanctions at the end of the process. The faction also accused Abure of impersonating as the chairman of the party, saying that he has since been removed by the Supreme Court. And in response to his suspension from the party by the Abure faction, Governor Oti has asked the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, to arrest Abure, accusing him of impersonation. In a statement by his media aide, Oti argued that Abure did not have the power to suspend him and 5 others from the party because he was no longer the LP's national chairperson. He also described Abure's action as, quote, an affront on democracy, end of quote. Well, it appears there's no end to this crisis in the Labour Party. Only God knows when this and how this will be resolved. Joining me now to discuss this further is a legal practitioner and political affairs analyst, Libros Oshoma. Also joining us is a political affairs analyst, Charles Ideho. Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming on the program. Libros, let me start with you because you are the lawyer here. Didn't that Supreme Court judgment remove Abure as the national chairman of the party?
It was to decline jurisdiction to that matter, saying that the parties should go and resolve their matter. The Supreme Court did not go into the meat or merit of the case. You remember at the Court of First Instance, the court gave judgment in favor of the Nenadi Usman-led faction.
Yes.
At the Court of Appeal reinstated Abure.
Yes.
And then the Supreme Court lashed out at the Court of Appeal that the Court of Appeal does not even have jurisdiction at all. That the courts, the Federal High Court and the Court of Appeal does not have jurisdiction to look into the matter, not to talk of even making an order. And that so, being a party matter, an internal affair of the party is at best, in the best place to resolve their crisis. So the court didn't make an order. So what?
But I thought the court also said Abure's tenure had expired.
I don't remember the court making that pronouncement because the court, if the court had said that the tenure had expired, that would mean the court, making a pronouncement on the matter. The court only said, I think it was the Court of First Instance that said the Abure's tenure had expired. And the Court of Appeal disagreed. But the Supreme Court disagreed with both the Court of First Instance and the Court of Appeal, holding that both courts lacked jurisdiction to hear the matter, being an internal affair of the party, that it was the party's prerogative to decide their internal affair. So what now happened was both parties started claiming victory. Because the appeal against the Court of Appeal judgment was against Abure. The moment the court declined jurisdiction, what the Oti Nenadi Usman's faction, said was that that means the judgment that reinstated Abure had been nullified, and so to that extent, judgment God had given them judgment. While Abure's faction had said, well, since the court had heard that parties should go back and resolve their issue, and the party had met, was it in Anambra, and Abure was re-elected, and that should stay. So that's why both parties are holding on to victory, at the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court did not make a definite pronouncement giving either of the party judgment. That was the same thing that happens with the seat of Ayaun in PDP, and so you saw what the PDP now did. The National Working Committee, subject to the neck of the party, had appointed a caretaker secretary.
Charles, why is it difficult to resolve this? Because as it is today, you have Julius Abure acting as he says he's a national chairman of the party. Nenadi Usman says she is the acting chairperson. She is actually leading a caretaker committee. And of course, questions have been raised as to whether those who actually set up that caretaker committee had the power to do so and all of that. But why do you think it's so difficult to resolve this? Why is it difficult for, these key actors to sit down at the table and iron this out?
Okay, first, we must look at all these cases in America. Number one, all parties have laws that govern them, all right? So when you have disputes, you resort to your laws, the laws you made for yourself, the laws made by yourself in order for you to self-govern yourself. So that's exactly where they are not referring to those laws. That's the way I see it. Number one, I have looked at all the political parties in Nigeria, and I look at the way they are organized, the way they organize themselves. But you see, you can't remove a national officer of any party without the national working committee meeting, either to ratify the person's position or to say the person had, maybe his tenure had expired. And if your tenure has expired, there has to be a national convention through which that you can now elect a new executive. That has not taken place in Labour. So it means that if the National Working Committee has not met and there's no national convention, Abure, by default, remains the national president.
Doesn't it matter that the chairman, I mean, the governor, Governor Alex Oti is on the other side, and Peter Obi is as well on the other side. Doesn't that give them that legitimacy to have taken the action they took?
No, it's not. It's not, because you'll be doing something or nothing. As I said, okay, the way parties are structured, you have the National Working Committee, you have the National Executive Committee, then you now have all of them replicated in all the respective states. So each organ has its laws, each organ has its power to dispense. When you want to come up with a new executive, there has to be a national convention. It's explicitly stated. There has to be a national convention through which you can choose all this. But if it has not happened, then you cannot say you are the leader. And one other thing that Abure was fighting, because in a manner of speaking, I can tell you that when Abure, there was a time he had problem with about whether he embezzled money, that he had the SEC problem and all that. When he was set free, I personally, they contacted me, and I remember I arranged a media briefing for him at Marriott Hotel. Sorry for mentioning brand, actually. And I remember all of them, all the cards were laid on the table. You understand? Now, there has not been a national convention organized where they can say, okay, Abure's tenure has expired. That's the case. Now, going to Oti and what's his name now? Peter Obi. I also blame Peter Obi. Why I blame him on two fronts. Number one, Peter Obi, I think what he did was that he forfeited the goodwill he enjoyed when he has this organic followership that was brought upon him by the obedient movement. What he has done was that it should have transitioned them into Labour Party membership. And that would have shored up the power that, of course, all of them were building Labour Party, number one. Number two, then what Abure was fighting was that there was a clandestine move, allegedly so, that they were all making all these things a regional body, regional party. If you look at all the names you'll be having there, all of them suspended, they're all Igbo. Abure said, no, this is a national party. You receive all your votes from everywhere. Now, because we had a governor from the southeast, does not make the party a southeast party. So let's remain where we are. Let us have this spread across Nigeria. Because if we continue to defer to Oti, because it's the only party that the only governor that the party had been able to put in their kitty, then there will be a problem. What happened to Abga? Abga being a regional party, will also happen to Labour Party.
Governor Oti has has asked the Inspector General of Police to arrest Abure for impersonation. Do you see the Inspector General of Police acting on this?
It is not the business of the Inspector General of Police to dabble into a family matter of a Labour Party until it is decided whether Abure remains the national chairman of the party or not. It is not in the mouth of anybody to say, go and arrest him. It's like two people fighting, you know, and then one says, police arrest him. The other one says, police arrest him. You know, he's the thief. The other one says, no, he's the thief. Police are. So I think at best, I would have expected, you know, after every election, every party that is what is sought set up what they call reconciliation committee. We have seen the